Beginning, the wound and the healer. When the plasma shard tore through my suit, I didn't even feel the pain at first, just the sudden rush of cold and the hiss of escaping oxygen. The explosion from the mining rig had thrown me hard against the tunnel wall, and my vision flickered with red warnings. The alien moonscape outside the cracked visor glowed a sickly purple. I was losing consciousness when I saw her silhouette through the haze. Tall, graceful, moving with an odd rhythm that didn't quite match gravity. Her skin shimmered like liquid glass under the emergency lights, and her eyes burned with a calm bioluminescent glow. The last thing I remembered before blacking out was her voice. A melodic hum, not words exactly, but something that pulsed directly through my chest. When I woke, I was no longer on the mining site. I was in a chamber that smelled faintly of ozone and herbs, lying on a soft, organic surface that pulsed gently like a heartbeat. Tubes connected to my body. Not plastic, but living vines that glowed faintly blue where they touched my skin. And beside me stood her. She wasn't wearing armor like the Xelerians usually did. Instead, she had flowing robes of translucent fabric. Her long silver hair bound with strands of faintly glowing coral. "You are awake," she said, her voice echoing softly in the chamber. "Good." The wound was deep. My head spun. "Where am I?" "You are aboard the Xelerian medical vessel Chara," she replied. "I am Saren, a field nurse. You were injured on the surface of Vael IX. Your life functions were fading. We intervened." I sat up slowly, grimacing as the vines detached and sealed the puncture on my chest with a layer of organic gel. "You saved me," I said. "Thank you." Her eyes flickered, not with pride, but with something like curiosity. "It is our duty," she said. "And my choice." I didn't understand that last part, but I was too groggy to ask. She turned, her movements fluid, graceful, more like water than a person. The connection deepens. Days passed. My body healed quickly, far faster than any human medical tech could manage. The gel hardened, dissolved, and my skin underneath looked untouched. But the real healing wasn't just physical. Every time Saren checked on me, something happened. The air seemed to hum. My pulse synchronized with a faint thrumming of the ship's organic systems. And I began to realize with her. We talked often. She told me the Xelerians were once explorers, not warriors, before they were forced into an interstellar conflict that fractured their people. The ship's medical core, she said, was alive, a biosynthetic being that resonated with emotion and intention. Healing wasn't mechanical for them. It was relational. "You must trust the healer," Saren explained one night, as she adjusted the organic light around my bed. "Without trust, the body rejects the harmony." "I do trust you," I said, smiling weakly. Her luminous eyes softened. "You say that easily, human. But do you feel it?" Something in the way she asked it made me pause. "I think so." She leaned closer, her cool hand brushing the center of my chest. "Then let the bond flow." I felt warmth spread through my ribs, down my arms to my fingertips. The vines around me pulsed in rhythm. For a moment our breathing matched. I could feel her emotions, calmness, curiosity, a faint thread of something deeper. Then she drew her hand back quickly, her glow flickering like a candle in the wind. "Enough," she said softly. "That was unexpected." "What was that?" "Yes." He turned away. "Nothing. Merely an alignment of energy." But I didn't believe her. Over the next few days, small things changed. Whenever she entered the room, I could sense her before she spoke. The medical vines responded faster when she was near. My dreams began to echo her voice. Not words but feelings. Pull. Connection. Finally, after a particularly long session of what she called resonant therapy, I asked, "Saren, am I imagining this, or can you feel what I feel?" She froze. Then, with visible hesitation, she nodded. "It is not imagination. The ritual we performed, unintentionally, has linked our biofields." "Ritual? What ritual?" She met my gaze. "When I healed you, you opened yourself completely. Humans rarely do that. Your emotional frequency aligned with mine, and your verbal affirmation sealed it." "My what?" "When you said, 'I trust you completely.' That is the Zilirian vow of bonding." Blink. "You're telling me I accidentally married my nurse?" Her expression remained calm, but I caught the faintest shimmer of amusement. "Among my people, it is more sacred than marriage. It means our life energies are now entangled. What I feel, you feel. What harms one harms the other." I laughed nervously. "You're joking, right?" Her glowing eyes dimmed slightly. "I would not joke about a soul link, human Nathan Hale." I swallowed hard. "So what happens now?" The consequences of the bond. The next day, the ship's command crew arrived. Their leader, a tall, crystalline being named Commander Jean, studied me with unsettling precision. "You have completed a bonding ritual with Nurse Saren," he said, voice like shards of glass sliding together. "This is unprecedented. No human has ever bonded with a Zilirian healer." "It was an accident," protested. "Intent does not matter. The bond is recognized by the core." The core. The living consciousness of this vessel. It senses harmony or disruption. If the bond is rejected, both bonded individuals may suffer neurological collapse. I turned to Saren wide-eyed. "So, if I try to undo this?" She nodded gravely. "We would both die." For hours afterward, I sat in silence, staring at the living walls that pulsed with faint light. My entire existence, my body, my mind, my freedom, now tied to someone I barely knew. But as I watched her move quietly through the chamber, tending to others with infinite patience, I realized something unexpected. I didn't feel trapped. Felt anchored. Connected. Whole in a way I hadn't been since the war began. That night she came to sit beside me. "You are calm now," she said softly. "I guess I don't have a choice. Acceptance is the first step to harmony." I smiled faintly. "You sound like my therapist." "Perhaps," she said, tilting her head. "But your kind heals differently. You hide pain. We share it." Then she placed her hand over mine. The ship around us responded. The light brightened, the air seemed to shimmer, and I felt warmth radiating through both of us. "I did not expect this," she whispered. "I thought humans could not form true resonance. Guess we're full of surprises." Ending the war and the choice. Weeks later, the Chara was drawn into an escalating conflict near the edge of the Zilirian frontier. A Terran fleet, my fleet, had entered restricted space, unaware of our presence. To them, the Zilirians were just another hostile alien race. When I learned the fleet commander was preparing to fire, I panicked. "They'll destroy you," I told Saren. "You have to let me talk to them. The core will not permit an unbonded human to transmit signals," Commander Jean said. "I'm not unbonded," I said firmly, glancing at Saren. "We're linked, right?" Her eyes widened. "You would use the bond to reach your people. It's the only way." The core chamber pulsed like a heartbeat as we stood before it. Saren took my hands, her glow intensifying until the entire chamber seemed to vibrate.